Radhe Radhe to all. By the immense grace of our Gurunatha, His Holiness Maharanyam Sri Sri Muralidhara Swamiji, by the Paramakripa of Madhuri Sakhi Sameta Premi Kavarada Thakurji, by the grace of Ponnu Guruvayurappan, we are really blessed to learn Narayaniyam. Every Friday we have class. In US it is evening and early morning in India. We have studied 21 cantos already, and today we have come to canto number 22. It is the story of Ajamila. Many of us will know the story from Bhagavatam. Let us see how Narayana Bhattadri has described this episode in Narayaniyam. It is condensed in this canto number 22, Ajamilopakhyanam. So, we are going to learn the shlokas with meaning, and this chapter is most beloved for all of us in satsang of Gurunatha. Our Gurunatha has incarnated to spread the divine name only. So for us it is a pratyaksha anubhava. All the satsangis in God satsang, we all experience that bliss and power of divine names. We all have anubhava of this chapter. So it is very close to our heart, and so we are going to study the shloka and the meaning. First we'll have a kirtan. This chanting the name of God is the only refuge for us who are in Kaliyuga, who are all stuck in this samsara in Kaliyuga. This is the song Rama Namam. Rama Namam solvadE kaliyil gathiyAm adaiyum maRandAl adhO gathiyAm. Rama Namam solvadE kaliyil gathiyAm adaiyum maRandAl adhO gathiyAm. Rama Namam solla solla nanmai perugumE nAvum inikkumE pAmaran mudal paNDithan varai punidam AkkumE shivanum pArvathiyum sollum nAmamAm kavalaiyai pOkki shAnthi nalgumam. Our Gurunatha says, Rama Namam solvadE kaliyil, in the Kali Yuga. The only refuge is this chanting of the divine name of Rama. Then Rama Namam solla solla nanmai perugumE. As you keep chanting the divine name, all good auspicious things happen for you. nAvum inikkumE, your tongue is wet, your tongue is sweet when you keep chanting divine name. pAmaran mudal paNDithan varai, the educated one or the illiterate one, the poor man or the rich man, all of them will benefit by this chanting of divine name. Shivanum pArvathiyum, Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati always chant the name of Bhagavan. And this name, kavalaiyai pOkki, it removes our worries and it gives shAnthi nalgumam. It gives peace of mind. Again, shivanum pArvathiyum sollum nAmamAm kavalaiyai pOkki shAnthi nalgumam. Rama Namam solli Hanuman kadalai taandinan மலையை தூக்கினான் மலை போன்ற துக்கமும் பனி போல் விலகுமாம். Ramanamam solli Hanumanji crossed the huge ocean by chanting the name of Rama. But when Ramachandra Prabhu had to cross the ocean and go to Lanka, he had to build a bridge. So this name of Rama is even more powerful than Rama himself. Hanumanji just chanted Ramanam and he was able to fly across the ocean. Whereas for Ramachandra Prabhu, he had to build a bridge to cross the ocean. And then Rama, by just chanting the name, our Hanumanji lifted the Sanjeevani Parvata also, Malayai Tukkinan. And then What does it mean? Malai pola dukhamum. We are all facing so many challenges. Huge mountain-like challenges are in our life. Even those mountain-like challenges will melt away like snow melting. Like that, even all these challenges, which are so huge and unconquerable like the mountain, even those challenges will be resolved when we keep chanting the divine name. That is this verse. Rama Namam solli Hanuman kadalai தாண்டினான் மலையை தூக்கினான் மலை போன்ற துக்கமும் பனி போல் விலகுமாம் ராமநாமம் சொல்லி சபரி முக்தி எய்தினான் நாமமும் நாமியும் வேறு வேறு illave illayam. Our Shabari Mata, she was chanting the name of Rama always, and by chanting the name she attained mukti, she attained liberation. So this Nama, it will give all the desires, it will fulfill our desires in this earth, it will also give us a salvation. So it has immense benefit here as well as in our next birth. So nāmamum nāmiyum, nāmamum nāmiyum. The name and the named are same. There is no difference between the name and the named. Rama, the name is equal to Rama, the form. So nāmamum nāmiyum vere vere illave illayam. ராமநாமம் சொல்வதற்கு எந்த தடையும் இல்லையாம் சொல்ல சொல்ல தடைகள் எல்லாம் தானே விலகுமாம். So there is no rules for chanting Nama. In this Kali Yuga, if Bhagavan has done Kripa, the most Kripa Bhagavan has done is give his name to us in this Kali Yuga. Not only that, he gave the name, but he said no rules for this name. You don't have to observe any particular, rules like, oh, should I shower and chant? Should I chant before eating? Should I sit in the east direction and chant? Should I chant in the morning? Should I chant in the Sandhya time? There is no rules for this. Anyone, anytime, all the time can chant Bhagavan Nama. So as we keep chanting, all the obstacles are automatically removed and fills us with bliss and gives immense joy in this life as well as the next life. So this is the one of the song. There are so many songs about Nama Mahima written by our Gurunadar. Our Gurunadar is the very incarnation of the divine name. He has incarnated to spread the message of this divine name. So it is really amazing canto for us. How did it happen? It's Krishna's plan. This Bhagavatam we are learning, it says, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. With Bhagavatam only we know the Mahima of the divine name. Bhagavatam is the 18th Purana, and that Purana has glorified the chanting of the divine name as the path for Kali Yuga. And so that in that Bhagavatam only, Ajamilopakhyanam comes in the 6th canto. As Narayanyam is the condensed version of Bhagavatam, it is coming in Narayanyam also in the canto number 22. So let us now see the story of Ajamilopakhyanam. This story only teaches us the greatness of the divine name. So what is this story? Let us see. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Ajamilo Nama Mahisura Pura Charan Vibho Dharmapathan Grihashrami Gurur Gira Kananametya Drishtavan Sudrishtashilam Kulatam Madakulam. Ajamilo Nama Mahisura Pura Charan Vibho Dharmapathan Grihashrami Gurur Gira Kananametya Drishtavan Sudrishtashilam Kulata Madakulam. Brahmin named Ajamila The name of the Brahmin was Ajamila. Charan Vibho Dharma Padan Grihashrami. He was leading a righteous life. Dharma Padan. Charan. He was walking in the path of Dharma only. He was a Grihashrami. He was a Grihastha, a householder. Charan Vibho Dharma Padan Grihashrami. So, Guror Gira Kananamitya Drishtavan. At the request of his father or the guru, we can keep either one. He went to the forest to collect wood, for the sacrificial fire. So he went to the forest to collect wood. At that time, Sudrishta Sheelam, a woman of bad character he met in the forest. Sudrishta Sheelam Kulatam, a woman who commits adultery. Such a woman he met in a very vulgar posture. So Sudrishta Sheelam Kulatam Mada Kulam, plus she's also having intoxication and giving suddenly it gives rise to some deep vasana that was stored inside Ajamila, and somehow he got attracted to this scene. So Swatha Prashandopi Tada Hridashayah Swadharmam Utsrijya Taya Samaraman Adharmakari Dashami Bhavan Punaha Dadau Bhavan Namayute Sute Ratim Swatha Prashandopi Tada Hridashayah Swadharmam Utsrijya Taya Samaraman Adharmakari Dashami Bhavan Punaha Dadau Bhavan Namayute Sute Ratim. Ajamila is a Brahmana, he is a Grihastha, he is married, and there are parents in the house, there is wife in the house. He is a normal householder. He went to the forest to collect wood, and he saw this woman in a lascivious posture. And somehow it would have never happened normally, but sometimes the whatever we see, it has an impact in our mind, and it kindles some old habits that may be stored inside. So Ajamila somehow got attracted by this picture in front of him, and when he went home also, he's thinking about her, and then he couldn't stop thinking, and then he comes back, and then he forgot his swadharma. Even though he was self-controlled person, he forgot his normal life. He forgot everything. His mind was constantly thinking about her. So he left his home and he came to her and he gave up all his duties and he started living with her. And he left all his swadharma. Swadharma uttrijataya samaraman. Sataya Samaraman. He started as though enjoying with her, and it seemed easy for him. He could drink and do as he pleases, nobody to question, no rules. It seemed all fun at the time, but he was removed from the community. He couldn't earn money by normal means, so he had to now steal money to support her. And then they started having children, and he had many children, and then there was a son born in the end. After many children were born, finally a son was born again, and this time this son was named as Narayana. This Ajamila, he became really close to this last son of his. Dadau Bhavanna Mayude, he has the name, onnodu name vechundirukkan. Guruvayurapanodu name Narayana per vechundirukkan, and the son. That son was named your name. See the name of Bhagavan, it is going to save him. So he got very attached to this son of his, whose name is your name. Bhavan Namayute Sute Ratim. He loved this son very much. He is the last son. Chota Vala is only very young child, 4 or 5 years old. And so life goes on. Ajamila is living like this. And whenever he is eating, he wants to call Narayana, come, let's eat. And they will both eat together. Then if he is playing, he'll say, Narayana, let us go play. And they both will play together. Then he will say, Narayana, come, time to sleep. Then they will both sleep together. So he got very attached to this son, and he used to keep calling him Narayana. So that is why all our saints tell us to keep the children's names as God's names. At least by that we are calling the children by Rama, come here, Krishna, come here, Arjuna or Gopala, come here. Like this we are calling Bhagavan's names always, and so it will bring auspiciousness and purify us every time we call his name. So like that he called Bhavannama Sude Ratim. So he got attached to this son. And why was this son somehow named Narayana when all others were called Chittu, Muttu and all those names? Why this name? Again, Bhagavan has made a sankalpa in our life. So Bhagavan is only running our life. When the wife, Ajamila's wife, was pregnant, a saint had visited that village, and the Ajamila's wife had invited the saint to her house. And the moment the saint enters, he knows, Are, ye to gadbad house hai. He understood that this is not a pious residence at all. But saints have, compassion. Their very form is compassion. Their very swarupa is compassion. So he said, okay, let this family also, go across. And so the saint saw she was pregnant. She gave him some water. Saint drinks the water, and then he says, name this child Narayana. The saint had said that to her, and he had left. So this child was named Narayana. The blessing of saints will never go in vain. Our Guruji again and again tells us that no matter how difficult it is or how impossible it may seem, the blessing given by saints will never go in vain. And so Ajamila, he became attached to this son and kept calling, Narayana, come here, Narayana, let's go, Narayana, let's eat, Narayana, let's sleep. Like this, he was unconsciously calling Bhagavan's name. Now Ajamila became old. Samrityu kale Yamaraja Kinkaran Bhayangaram Strin Abhilakshayan Biya Puramanak Tvatsmriti Vasana Balade Juhava Narayana Namakam Sutam Samrityukale Yamaraja Kinkaran Bhayangaram Strin Abhilakshayan Biya Puramana Tvatsmriti Vasana Balade Juhava Narayana Namakam Sutam. Slowly this life passed like this, and our Ajamila became old, and now he must be really old, up to say 70 or 80 years old. And suddenly death doesn't spare anyone, does it? So suddenly today is the day of his death, and suddenly he sees fierce looking people, Yamaraja Kinkaran, Mrityu Kala, Mrityu time has come. And then when a sinner, as Ajamila, he has done so many sins, then at the end, what he will see is, very scary people who are going to put the noose on his neck and pull him and take him to hell. So that is, our scriptures tell us what happens at the time of death. At the time of death, a jiva feels intense pain, and the mind goes through lot of turmoil and disturbances, and numerous thoughts engulf the mind. And the last final thought is the one that will decide the next janma. But hundreds and thousands of thoughts come in the mind and disturb the mind and give it so much fear. It is described by Patanjali Muni. What happens? There are Vishlesha Dukkha. There are 4 types of dukkha we feel. at the time of death. It's called Vishleshaj. When the gross body is separated from the subtle body. All of us have gross body, a subtle body, and then a causal body. Three. When somebody wearing a banyan, a kurta, and a sweater. First, the sweater is the outermost layer. That's the gross body. Then there is a kurta under that. That is the sukshma, a subtle body. And behind that is the causal body called, Karana Sharira, and that is the banyan. Like this, we have three. So when the gross body is separated from the subtle body is holding all our action and consequences within it. So when this gross body will be left here, but the subtle body takes another gross body and goes to its next journey, its next birth. So the subtle body will never die. It will take another body and go to another life. But when that separation is happening from the gross body is separated, if the jiva feels intense pain, that's called Vishleshaj Dukkha. And so, not only that, it feels Mohaj Dukkha. It says, oh my God, I'm leaving all these people. What will happen to my wife? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my house? What will happen to all my friends? What I'm leaving all this, like that, all kind of moha, infatuation will come. Second, then number three, anutapaj. We will have thoughts like, oh, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. All my time is over. That is it. I'm going to die now, like that. It will wish, it wanted one more, one more day. Can I have one more week? It will feel like that anutabaj dukkha, that everything is taken away from me. That's the third type of dukkha. Again, it will also feel fourth dukkha, agami hridaya dukkha. It will say, oh, where am I going next? What's going to happen to me? All these sins I have accumulated, what consequences will I have to face in the next birth? Like this, all type of scenes come in front of him and scare the jiva. All these thoughts come at the same time and scare the jiva, and it is terrified at the time of death. And then finally, whatever last thought, whatever it was, in that flash, the life will be gone. That last thought, whatever it was, it will take the next life based on that thought. So many things happen at the time of death. Now, when it is a sinner like Ajamila, you could imagine how terrified he was when three, fierce looking emissaries of Yama appear. They have horns on their head. They have, big eyes with the roaring and red eyes, and they have sharp teeth, and they have big nails, and they have huge form, so dark, with big hair, and they have so much anger and punishing look to Ajamila, and he's terrified at that last moment. But luckily for him, he called Narayana. He called his son. He's so attached to his son. And he says, I'm going to leave my little child, Narayana. That name came out of his mouth. Why that name came? Guruvayurappan's Kripa. Bhagavan has selected this jiva already. It is mine. I shall send the name to him. Like that, Ajamila so blessed that he called Narayana. Juhava Narayana Namakam Sutam. He called his son. He only called his son Narayana. His name was Narayana. He called his son. I'm going to miss you, Kana. When will I see you again? Don't leave me. I'll see they are taking me. Come. He called. That child is not hearing. It is playing in the garden somewhere outside. It didn't hear. But who heard? Guruvayurappan heard. Next shloka. Durashayasyapi tadatva nirgadatvadiya namakshara vaibhavat. Puro bibetur bhavadiya parshadaha chaturbhuja pitapata manorama. Durashayasyapi तदा त्वनिर्गत त्वदीयनामाक्षरमात्रवैभवात् पुरोऽभिवेदुर्भवदीयपार्षदाः चतुर्भुजा पीतपटा मनोरमाः. His Ajamila is pure evil now. He has committed unlimited atrocities and he deserves the worst hell, not only for one janma but for several janmas. He should have been consigned to different types of hells for several more janmas. That many sins he has committed. But Nama Akshara Matra Vaibhava, Tvadiya Nama Akshara Matra Vaibhava. But he called Narayana in that last final thought. That was, as it was leaving, the last thought was Narayana. My God, that was it. He got a jackpot. Immediately 4 divine beings landed over there. On one side is all the 3 emissaries of Yama. On the other side, the beautiful 4 divine beings also came there. And they are the servants of Guruvayurappan. They are the emissaries of Guruvayurappan. And they have such a beautiful, benevolent look. And they have beautiful, lovely lotus-like eyes. They have beautiful kirita. They have beautiful ornaments. They are wearing beautiful pitambara. And they have a benevolent look and smiling at Ajamila. But the other emissaries of Yama, they are ready to punish with danda. But our Guruvayurappan's bhaktas, they are smiling at him. Suddenly, our Ajamila is confused. 2 different sets of people have assembled here. Purobibe durbhavadiya parshadaha chaturbhuja pitapata manorama. Ajamila is looking. And now all the conversation is between these 2 sets of people. One is Guruvayurappan's set, Guruvayurappan's team, and the other is the Yamaraja's team. And both are going to talk to each other, and Ajamila is just going to hear. Some books will have Manohara, some will have Manohara. So both are. So then both of them appeared before Ajamila. One is Guruvayurappan, who is so loving and compassionate, and the other is Yamadharma Raja, his attendants who are ready to punish and take him to hell. So then amum cha sampashya vikarshato bhatan vimunchate tyarurudur ami nivaritaste cha bhavajjanaistada tadiya papam nikhilam nyavedayan amum cha sampashya vikarshto bhatan vimunchate tyarurudur निवारितास्ते च भवज्जनैस्तदा तदीय पापं निखिलं न्यवेदयन्. Pulling him. Vikarshto bhata, they are dragging Ajamila forcefully. And suddenly, the emissaries of Narayana is saying, Vimuncha, release him. Vimunchate tyarurudur baladami. And they stopped the emissaries of Yama and they stopped them and said, release him, he's ours. Then the servants of Yama started narrating the sins of Ajamila. They started listing all the sins. Bhagavan, Surya Bhagavan is a witness to everything. And up there, Bhagavan has kept Chitragupta to make logs of all the sins we commit. So there is witness in the universe. No one can escape. All our actions, somebody is always watching it. So our Yamadharma Raja, his attendants are recounting all the sins Ajamila has committed. Nivaritaste cha bhavajjanaistada tadiya papam nikhilam nyavedayan. So they narrated all the sins, and yes, correct. Our Bhagavan has only established that system where he has kept Yama as the boss of death. And when people commit sins, Yama is responsible to bring them to heaven or hell and give proper punishment and purify them. And so Yama has that as duty assigned by Krishna only. He's doing his duty. But right now, Bhagavan has come to do an override of his own duty, his own system. Bhagavan says, Bhavantu papani katham tu nishkrite कृते पिबो दण्डनमस्ति पण्डिताः न निष्कृति किं विदिता भवादृशाम् इति प्रभो त्वत्पुरुषा बभाषिरे भवन्तु पापानि कथं तु निष्कृते कृते पिबो दण्डनमस्ति पण्डिताः न निष्कृति किं विदिता भवादृशाम् इति प्रभो त्वत्पुरुषा बभाषिरे. Let there be sins. Yes, he has committed numerous sins, no doubt. But did you not know he has already done atonement for them? What atonement? He called the name Narayana. So he has already done atonement for all the sins. Kride pibo dandanamasti panditaha. You are supposed to be learned people. How come you don't know this? He has already done prayaschitta by taking the divine name at the last moment when we are in a state of utter helplessness, vivasha nilai, when somebody is dropping us from the mountain and there is nobody who can save us, when we call Narayana, that just by that name we are saved. Just by calling the name, help comes. This nama is just the kamadenu. It will give all the desires, it will fulfill. It will protect us from all dangers. Just like when you keep umbrella when there is heavy rain, keep this Bhagavan Nama always when you are in time of difficulties, our Guruji says. When last 2 years in 2020, when there was COVID everywhere, our Gurunatha used to come on Facebook every day and give 1 hour. He will chant Nama and give Nama Mahima. And so much Gurunatha used to tell, chant Nama, COVID will not touch you. Chant Nama in times of difficulty, it will protect you. Just like you keep umbrella during rain, keep Nama at the time of difficulty and chant always, and definitely positive outcome will come, Guruji says. And this Nama is even more powerful than God himself. So many Nama Mahima our Guruji was telling at that time. And so here the Vishnu's emissaries are telling, you are all Panditas, don't you not know? He has already done atonement by calling Narayana at the time of danger, at the time of death, he called his name. So therefore he does not deserve any punishment. Na nishkriti kim vidita bhavadrisha iti prabho tvat purusha babhashire. In Bhagavatam, Yamadharma Raja says this Mahima of Nama Mahima, only 12 people knew it at that time. Swayambur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakirvayam Dwadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Nyatva Amridam Ashnute. This Bhagavan Nama and Bhagavata Dharma was forgotten. It was always there. But in the other yugas, Bhagavan expected people to do tapas or yaga or puja and all this. But in Kali Yuga, Bhagavan relaxed all these rules. And he said, only chant the name. Out of infinite kripa, he made it very easy. Because in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to even do any sadhana. Kali has destroyed everything. Kali is the evil spirit. We are in Kali Yuga. And he has taken all the essence, all the sadhana. Sadhana means all the spiritual disciplines normally which were done in other times, like doing tapas or meditation, or doing lot of big homa and yaga, or going to temples and doing all types of worship. All those, our Kali has destroyed them and made everything impure, and he has contaminated everything. None of that will work. He has taken the sar from everything. So Bhagavan had to counter him, and he has to give a marga that will beat Kali. kaliyayum bali kollum. Kali is impossible to beat so easily. You see how the war is going on, and they never give up. They will take it all the way. They will not listen to the dialogue or negotiate. They want to kill. They have no daya. Kali has destroyed all the good sense in that. When the Kali has taken over one person, he doesn't have any compassion. He doesn't have any feeling of a fellow feeling. He doesn't have any respect for anyone. He will just so selfish. His ego has taken over. So like that, this Kali is very difficult to conquer. So Bhagavan, he also want to fight Kali. So he gave a marga, like this name. Just by calling the name, you are going to attack Kali. Who is going to prevail? Name. Bhagavan will prevail. So even that Kali, he will not be able to destroy completely, because the name will prevail. So always in every age there is good and evil. There is always fight between good and evil at all times. So to make it easy for us to fight Kali, who is so powerful, Bhagavan gave a equally powerful weapon called the divine name. So this name, it was there, but it was not important in other yugas. Mahabali did Ashwamedha Yaga, Raja Dasharatha did Ashwamedha Yaga, Uttrakameshti Yaga, Vajpaya Yaga, or Naranarayana Rishi did tapas, and all these things were done in other times. But in Kali Yuga, nobody can do all this sadhana, so at least you chant name. It has the same benefit as doing all those other elaborate spiritual methods, elaborate spiritual practices. So this was forgotten. Even Yamadharmaraja says only 12 people always knew the power of the divine name. So Ayambhu Swayambhu Manu, Narada Muni, Lord Shiva Shambhu, our Sanat Kumaras, Kapila Muni, Prahlada, Janaka Maharaja, Bhishma, Mahabali, and then Vyasa Bhagavan or Shuka Brahma. All these are the only people who really knew that Nama Mahima, and so our Shuka has narrated to Parikshit and with Bhagavatam, and so we get the Nama Mahima. But it is so rare that even in those times it was not used. So now our Vishnu's emissaries are reminding Yamadharmaraja that the name he has taken, so he is free from all the sins. The name, one name, has purified him. The way he called one name is enough. If you call with that much feeling, with that much faith, in that much dangerous, terrorized situation, you call with that type of helplessness, then one name is enough to take you across. So our beautiful Narayana's emissaries are telling he has already done atonement, you can release him. Then they are giving more mahima, more greatness of the divine name. Shruti smridibhya vihita vratadayah punanti papam na lunanti vasana ananta sevatu nikrintati dvayi idi prabho tvat purusha babashire. Shruti smridibhya vihita vratadayah punanti papam na lunanti vasana ananta sevatu nikrantati dvayi idi prabho tvat purusha babashire. Our Bhagavan's devotee, Bhagavan's emissaries are telling, Yama's emissaries, it has never happened before. The same, Bhagavan's attendants and Yama's attendants meeting at the same spot. It never happens. Where there is Bhagavan, there cannot be Yama. Where there is Yama, there cannot be Bhagavan. But this is the only situation where both are at the same spot. And who is watching all this? Ajamila is stunned. Is he going to be transformed? Of course he's going to be transformed. Ajamila is looking, and these both are talking. And so again, Bhagavan's emissaries are telling, Shruti Smridibhya Vihita Vratadayah doing all the spiritual practices like reading the scriptures, reading the Vedas, and then observing vratas, observing fast, or doing dhyana, all those, they do not purify a person completely. Punanti papam na lunanti vasanam. And even going to the holy rivers and taking bath, they only purify the outer body, but the inner habit, the vasanas, called the habitual tendencies, they still persist. So the the sin committed may be removed, but the tendency to commit the sin is still there inside. It doesn't remove the tendency to commit sin, all the other spiritual practices. But the Bhagavan Nama, by chanting again and again and again, it purifies us and we feel ruchi and sweetness in the name itself, that our other sinful tendencies automatically drop. That is the beauty of this Bhagavata Dharma. Hearing the katha of Bhagavan, chanting the divine name, doing the decoration of the form of Bhagavan, all this Ananda Sevatu Nikrindadi Dvayim, serving Bhagavan in the Bhagavata Dharma. By serving Bhagavan, all this, the sins as well as the tendency to commit sin, both are removed. Like this, Tat Purusha Babashire, Idi Prabho, Tat Purusha Babashire. Guruvayurappa, your emissaries are speaking like this, Tat Purusha Babashire. And then more they are telling, Anena Bho Janma Sahasra Koti Bihi. कृतेषु पापेष्वपि निष्कृतिकृत यदग्रहीन् नाम भयाकुलो हरेः इति प्रभो त्वत्पुरुषा बभाषिरे अनेन भो जन्म सहस्रकोटिभिः कृतेषु पापेष्वपि निष्कृतिकृत यदग्रहीन् नाम भयाकुलो हरेः इति प्रभो त्वत्पुरुषा बभाषिरे Anena Bho means, oh, messengers of Yama, hear this from us. Even if a person has committed sins for Janma Sahasra Koti Bihi, he has committed sins for Koti Janmas also. When he has taken Sri Hari's name in utter fear, Yad Agrahi Nama Bhayakulo Hare. When he has called the name of Hari and in utter fear he has called his name, he is saved. In the Bhagavata sloka we say, Patitah Skalitah Chartah Shutva va vivasho bruvan Haraye namaityuchaihi Muchyate sarva patakat Patitah Skalitah Chartah Shutva va vivasho bruvan. In a state of vivashan, utter helplessness, we are calling Bhagavan. Ajamila didn't even call Bhagavan, he called the name only. Haraye Nama Ityuchaihi Uchyate Sarvapatakat, all the sins are removed in that very instant when the name has been uttered. Like this, the devotees of Narayana have incarnated to give the glory of the divine name. And so they are stunned. Even the messengers of Yama are stunned to hear all this. And so they are saying, he's saved from all the sins, and so releasing. And they are telling more Mahima. Nrinam abudhyapi mukunda kirtanam dahatyagaughan mahimasya tadrishah yathakniredamsi yadaushadam gadan idi prabho tvatpurusha babhashire. Nrinam abudhyapi mukunda kirtanam dahatyagaughan महिमास्य तादृशः यथाग्निरेदांसि यदौषधं गदान् इति प्रभो त्वत्पुरुषा बभाषिरे. Abudhyapi, Nranam, the human beings, when they utter the name of Bhagavan, knowingly or unknowingly, Abudhyapi, we did not know its Mahima, but we just chant. Even us or the people who know the Mahima and chant, them also, both of them are benefited by the name. If we chant with faith, the result come immediately. If we chant with faith, our Guruji keeps telling, faith no faith, there is no fate. If you have faith, there is no fate. So when I have heard Ajamilopakhyanam in class, I'm going to chant, and Nama will take care of me. Like that, with that faith, if you chant, the result will be very fast. And so they are telling Nrinam Abhudhyapi Mukunda Kirtanam dahatyagaughan. It burns up our sins. It burns all our sins, just like the Agni fire will burn fuel. Like that, the name burns all the sins. And then Yadagni Redamsi, Yada Agni Redamsi, like that, the name burns the sins. And Yadaushadam Gadan, like the medicine cures the headache, medicine cures a disease. Even though we do not know who made the medicine, what is in the medicine, we don't know all that. We just take the medicine and we get cured. Like that, the name, it will cure us, it will protect us, it will give us all our wishes will be fulfilled. It will only give positive outcome. Even a single name will not go in vain. Our Guruji gives beautiful example. When you are cutting lot of vegetables, after you remove the skin and all, then you are throwing all the waste, and you're throwing in that waste, there may be some seeds of that vegetable, and the seeds are thrown, and somewhere sometime later the seed also gets into the soil and it starts sprouting into a plant. Like that, even if one nama you have uttered at some time, even that single nama, it will never go waste. It will always give its result. So you just chant, it will do its job. The name has Chaitanya, it has life. The name is alive, it has Jivan. It is not like if I call, some other name, it is God's name. The God's name is infused with his divinity. So, Krishidadunakaraabhyam Sattanandatmadam kila vilavade Jagat agakarshitvam va Kathaya drishihi Krishna namate Yadano Krishna. And the name has that power to remove aga, all our papa. And so the Krishna Nama is like that. Why is the Rama Nama so beautiful? In our religion, there are two major faiths, the Vaishnavism and Shaivism. For the Shiva Bhaktas, the name is Namah Shivaya is their mantra. And for the Vishnu Bhaktas, Narayana is the favorite name for the Vaishnavas. If you take the Ra from the Narayana, and if you take Namah Shivaya Lamma, that taking Ra and Ma, this name Rama has come. Without that, Ra Narayana, or the Ra Artha Nayana will not make sense. In the Namah Shivaya, if you remove the Ma, Na Shivaya does not have any good auspicious meaning. So the Jiva letters from those two names are taken and the Rama Nama has been formed. So this Rama Nama is called Taraka Mantra. And so when we chant the name, it has the power to burn our sins and cure all our like the medicine is curing our ailment, the Nama will solve all our problem and it will fulfill all our desires. Like this, the Vishnu Parshadas are giving the Nama Mahima, and Yamadharmaraja's emissaries are stunned, and so they leave Ajamila and they go back to Yamaloka without taking the Jiva. Iti ritair yamya bhatair apasride bhavat bhatanam cha ganeti rohide bhavat smritim kanchana kalamacharan bhavat padam prapi bhavat bhatairasau. Iti ritair yamya bhatair apasride bhavat bhatanam cha ganeti rohide bhavat smritim Kanchana kalamacharan bhavat padam prapi bhavat bhatairasau.
Tidayamya bharairapasyate bhaval bhadanam cha gane tirohide bhaval priringanjana kalamajaran bhaval pradam prabi bhavat bhadairasau.
Yama, They heard everything from Vishnu Bhaktas and they left. And when Yamadharma Raja is asking, where is the Jiva you're supposed to bring? Oh no, the Jiva screamed Narayana. So Jiva will scream at the time of death. Does not mean you can leave them and come. You have to pull them and bring them here. No, but he screamed Narayana. Acha, Narayana he screamed. Then Yamadharma Raja is thinking about Bhagavata Dharma. And that teaching, we just saw that shloka where only 12 people know that Bhagavata Dharma, it was a supreme secret until even at that time. And now Bhagavan has given it freely to us. And all the Mahans are telling the Bhakti Marga. Jnana Marga or Yoga and all that will not work in Kali Yuga. No doubt about it. Bhakti Marga and Bhagavat Dharma is the only way in Kali Yuga. So Ajamila is Pakhyana Charita is proof of this. So Ajamila heard. Ajamila saw all this and he became so stunned and he became completely transformed. And see how Nama is transforming somebody. So if there was a Hiranyaksha, an Asura, he cannot be transformed overnight. Bhagavan has to kill him only. If there was an Asura like, Shakata Asura and all those Asuras who came to attack Bhagavan, Bhagavan had to kill them. There is no Asura who became suddenly transformed and became a very good person. Is there any story? No. All the Asuras, they are evil and Bhagavan kills them. After that they go to heaven, that's another matter. But they get killed. But what about the people who are evil and they got name, they became reformed. They are transformed. How do we know? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's story is always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is roam. He has name in every nerve of his body, in every hair of his body. The name is there. He's immersed in divine name, and he is propagating names and sending his Shishyas Nityananda and Haridas Thakurji and telling, go tell everyone to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, go tell. And so Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakurji go door to door and knock and say, please chant Krishna's name. Please hear his katha and tell about Krishna's greatness to others. Like this. And some are doing it, some are receiving them nicely, but some are jealous and some also make fun of them. But they do not bother. They just go tell every door, knock every door and say, chant Krishna's name, chant Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. And then they saw two Jagai and Madai, two evil people who are committing atrocious sins. They are also born in Brahmin families, but they gave up everything and they started drinking. They started killing cows. They started killing people and they just led a sinful life. And these two are walking. Jagai Madai, they see Haridas Thakurji and Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu says, chant. He wanted to bless them also. See how much compassion the saints will have. So he's telling, please chant Hare Krishna. Hare, what are you talking about? Hare Krishna. And they go to hit him. But both the saints run away as though in fear. And then another day, our Nityananda Prabhu is having bath and finishing his bath in the river and coming out. Jagai Madai come and Madai hits him with a pot, with a broken piece of a pot. And blood starts coming from Nityananda Prabhu. And Haridas Thakurji runs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, Nityananda Prabhu is hit by Madai. Here, Jagai is feeling bad. He says, Madai, don't hit, stop. And so Jagai stopped him, but already he is bleeding. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came running from there and he is furious that his dear Shishya, Nityananda Prabhu, who is incarnation of Balramji, that he is hurt. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lifts his chakra and is about to kill Madai. Our Nityananda Prabhu falls at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, says, oh Lord, this avatara is not for Nigraham, it is for Anugraham. This avatara is not to kill, but this avatara is to give premai. Please do not kill. Our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calmed down and then he said, which one of you saved Nityananda? It was Jagai. Jagai, you saved Nityananda from getting killed. I bless you. And he hugged him. Jagai started dancing with divine love and started chanting his name. Madai saw all this and he became so remorseful and he fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu could not forgive him still because he hurt a Bhagavata. But Nityananda pleaded with Mahaprabhu, say, please forgive him also. And so he was also forgiven. Then both Jagai Madai went to the bank of Ganga and started chanting 100,000 names a day. They were completely transformed and became bhaktas with divine love. And they started chanting name day and night. And then they said, please give us some seva so that we can get rid of all our sins. Madai is still feeling very disturbed that he has committed such a grave sin. Please forgive us. Give us some seva. And so Nityananda Prabhu told him to build a ghat in the bank of Ganga. It's called Madai Ghat. So people who come to take bath, they can take rest, and so it will help them. So he built a ghat for them in the banks of the Ganga, there, Madai Ghat. So how they were transformed by the divine name. That is the name. The name can transform a person from the dark side to the bright side and fill him with divine love. Because Mahaprabhu, an association of a Mahan like Mahaprabhu or Gurunada who are always chanting. If you have an association of such a Mahan, you also get that energy and you also get the divine love and prema. So this is how Ajamila, who was he before? He was living with a prostitute, with stealing and murdering people. Now who he's become? He's completely became a devotee of Guruvayurappan. Bhavat smritim kanchana kalamacharan bhavat padam prapi bhavat bhatairasau. He went to the bank of Ganga also, and he started praying and chanting names. And at the another time again, Bhagavan's emissaries came and took him to Vaikuntha Loka. That is Ajamila's fate. When after all this, when Yamadharmaraja heard the emissaries, they reported to Yama and said all this happened. Our Yama is stunned and is telling, do not bother and never go to the devotees of Guruvayurappan. Never ever go and trouble the devotees of Guruvayurappan. They are all following Bhagavata Dharma and they are protected by Bhagavan. We have no place in their house. So this is what Yama is telling. A bhakta kalam cannot affect a bhakta following Bhagavata Dharma. We'll say, I have dukkha, oh, time is not good, maybe my prarabdha, maybe my some karma, all this will make excuse. Nothing matters. When there is Bhagavan Nama, there will only be positive outcome. And so Yama is telling, Swakinkara Vedana Shankito Yamaha Twadangri Bhakteshu Na Gamyatam Iti Swakiya Bhrityan Ashishikshat Uchakaihi Sadeva Vadalayanada Pahimam Swakinkara Vedana Shankito Yamaha त्वदङ्घ्रि भक्तेषु न गम्यताम् इति स्वकीय भृत्यान् आशिशिक्षत् उच्चकैः सदेव वातालयनाद पाहि माम्. When Yama heard all this, he also became absorbed in thought, and then he also remembered the Bhagavata Dharma, the Nama Mahima, and so he says, never go to the devotees of Guruvayurappan. One who has heard this, we are saved. You heard my Nama Mahima once, you heard Bhagavata Dharma once, right? You are saved. We are all saved. And so, do not na gamyatam iti. Twadangri bhakteshu. The devotees of Guruvayurappan, do not go and bother them. Swakiya Bhrityan Ashishikshat Uchchakaihi Kalamalam Idilan. It will not bother us. We just have to hold on to the divine name. It will take care of us. So Yama is telling the divine name is so great, only 12 people know about it. And so our Narayana Bhattadri very beautifully condensed the 3 chapters of Bhagavata in this canto, and I also went very fast. But Nama Mahima is infinite. You know, so many times we keep saying Hari Anant, Hari Katha Ananta. Can never exhaust the glories of Nama or Nami, Bhagavan. So we are very blessed to hear the story of Ajamila, and so may Bhagavan's Kripa be on us that we always chant his names and let all our problems be resolved, and let us have prema bhakti to Bhagavan and Gurunatha. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha Sandranandavabodatmagamανupamidam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamasharasahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Dristamatre पुनरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्वादि साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे अन्धभाग्यं जनानां श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः